I went camping with a friend in a remote forest. We were looking for an escape from our busy lives and figured a weekend in the wilderness would be perfect. We arrived at the campsite late in the afternoon, set up our tent, and gathered wood for a fire. As night fell, the forest grew eerily quiet. We talked and laughed around the fire, but as the hours passed, an unsettling feeling crept over me. I couldn't shake the sensation of being watched. Around midnight, we decided to turn in. My friend was out like a light, but I lay awake, staring at the tent's ceiling. That's when I heard it, a rustling just outside the tent. At first I thought it was an animal, but then I heard a low, guttural whisper, mimicking my friend's voice, calling my name. I shook my friend awake, heart pounding. "Did you hear that?" I whispered. My friend listened for a moment, then shrugged it off as my imagination. But I knew what I heard. Determined to prove I wasn't crazy, I grabbed a flashlight and unzipped the tent. The beam of light cut through the darkness, revealing nothing but trees and shadows. I stepped out, scanning the area, but everything seemed normal. I was about to turn back when I saw movement out of the corner of my eye. I swung the flashlight around and froze. There, at the edge of the clearing, stood a figure. It looked like my friend, but something was off. The movements were jerky, unnatural, and the eyes, those eyes were empty, void of any humanity. The figure smiled, a chilling, predatory smile, and then it spoke in a distorted version of my friend's voice, calling my name again. Panic set in. I stumbled back into the tent and zipped it up, my hands shaking. I told my friend what I saw, but they insisted I was just tired and seeing things. Reluctantly, I lay back down, every sound outside now amplified in my mind. The next morning, we decided to cut the trip short. As we packed up, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. We left the forest and I tried to forget what I saw, convincing myself it was a hallucination. Weeks later, I was at home when I heard a knock on my door. I opened it to find my friend standing there, looking exhausted and terrified. They told me they had seen the same figure outside their window, mimicking my voice, calling their name. It followed them home. We decided to research what we encountered and came across stories about skinwalkers, creatures from Native American legends that could mimic voices and appearances to lure victims. The descriptions matched our experiences perfectly. Then came the twist I never saw coming. One night, while trying to calm my friend over the phone, I heard a faint noise behind me. I turned around to see my friend standing in the doorway, the same empty eyes and predatory smile as the figure in the forest. I realized too late the terrifying truth. The friend I had been talking to all this time, the one who had been followed home, wasn't my friend. They had been replaced by the skinwalker that night in the forest. And now it was my turn to run.